All right.
We're in November.
Yes.
Welcome to the Freedom Cage podcast, where we lock into a free state of mind each and every pay week, of course, on all DSPs. But I got my main guy, my ace, my left and my right this week, Shawn. Better know Mr. Senor on all your socials.
You know.
And me, I'm Kenny, also known as Ken Kapnick on all these socials. But today, it's a very, very, very special day.
That's right.
It's our Salute to Service episode. We have two very, very, very special guests from Bloodline as well as Friendline, near, here, and far. But please, by all means, introduce our cast this afternoon.
Oh man, so it is a pleasure of mine to introduce Preciously, my niece. Tell them a little bit about your title right now in the military.
Well, let me say aloha, because I'm from Hawaii right now. My title is Master Sergeant, so Master Sergeant Lee. I just got promoted 1 October. Blessings, grateful, thankful. A long journey. Been in 18 and a half years now. I'm on my 7th duty station, active Army, and I'm in a joint assignment right now, enjoying the Hawaii life.
She's talking that talk, ain't she? And next up, man, a really, really good friend of the family, man, Alfonso Matos, aka Rambo, aka Gio, aka that dude. Introduce yourself, man. Tell them who you are, where you served, and what you're currently doing.
Joined the Marines back in 2004. The Marines, I went to the Army for some time frame. After that, got to do some other things that I cannot talk about really. It's government related.
He does his own stuff, y'all.
I currently work as a federal law enforcement right now. I've been doing it for about 3-4 years. So I've been basically doing all different type of careers that excite me, motivate me, and drive me to become better. That's what I've always done since the military.
That is awesome, man. Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for taking time. I know you guys are really busy, so this is really important to us, taking this last episode of the year to recognize our veterans, and we're just you guys, it's that special.
Thank you.
Yeah. So kick us off with the questions, man.
Oh man, first off, like a lot of people don't understand the little nuances, but it's kind of your guys' job to pay attention to detail. Just for those that are unaware, what's the main difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day?
Oh, let me start with this one. So there's Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Armed Service Day. So Veterans Day is basically to recognize those that either retired or may have got out of the service, no longer serve. They are still alive. Memorial Day is those that basically died from service, KIA, anything like that, passed away, maybe after the service or whatever. So they are no longer living. Armed Service Day is technically what I should be celebrating, because I am still active duty. I am not retired. Of course, I am still living. So those are the three differences. A lot of people get them mixed up. I think a lot of people just go out to celebrate and eat free food. But a lot of people are not educated on the differences, and that's why sometimes, especially on Memorial Day, you'll see a lot of people post, hey, this is the differences. Hey, stop celebrating this person. Hey, this is not your day. This is for those that passed away, that served their nation and stuff, are no longer here.
Super clear.
Definitely.
Should be no more questions on the personal reasons for what day is what.
Definitely. So Major, when you see people mix this up, does it make you feel a way, or do you just say, you know what, they're uninformed or ill-informed, let me educate them?
Well, it's like, once again, it's a lack of knowing, and you niece broke it down actually perfectly. It's a perfect example for the breakdown. Like me, I serve. I'm not longer serving active duty. So I'm a veteran, but I'm a war veteran because I actually serve in the war. And there's some people that they retired 20 years and they're veterans, and they serve in the war, and after they retire, they become veterans, war veterans too. Because it's still active service. I know friends of mine that are still in the service right now, and they're Iraq and Afghanistan veterans from both wars, but they're not considered veterans until they get active duty and retire. So there's always a difference. There's always been kind of collateral in the military and the service outside and veterans community that people get confused when they know, oh, today's Veterans Day, today's Memorial Day. Personally, I lost I got a lot of good Marines and a lot of good personal friends of mine that passed away, died, like she was playing KIA, killed in action. Personally, a lot of Marines that I personally had to send back home in body bags. For me, Memorial Day is a very personal thing. So when I hear people mixing up Memorial Day and Veterans Day, it really upsets me a little bit. But at the same time, you understand people, regular folks have no idea. Well, and your niece hit the nail on the head when she explained about the big difference of why it is. I personally believe that every person serving and non-serving should always be, you thankful for the service, but at the same time, you got to remember what the actual day of the week or what in the year it is.
Right.
Actually, even things. That's my concept.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, because I know I've tried to do my best to understand it.
Like I had a fake understanding of it. I just knew all of I did before she even mentioned the fighter one as far as I knew the 2 days existed and I celebrated them both equally. And by doing that, I just thought of Precious automatically in my head. And that was that. I'm like, she's cool. I know she's good. She spoke to mommy a couple of days ago. Like, you know what I mean? Other than that, I didn't really put too much to it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of regret that, you know what I mean? Because as I'm going through, your regular walks of life and you network and you meet more people that either served or just came back, about to go back. And you kind of, you feel for them a lot more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's not an easy choice to make, but a lot of them make that choice. But it's cool. It's good to know the difference though.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great segue because before you've got to this point, you're both very accomplished in your careers at this point. There was a defining moment where you said, you know what, I'm going to enlist. Precious, we'll start with you. What was that defining moment for you?
18 years ago.
You taking me to that day?
Well, let's be okay. So to actually clear it up, it was actually almost 19 and a half years ago. So what a lot of people don't know is I got out and came back in. So I came in basically to get away from New York, like, growing up, Flatbush, being on the block. After a while, it was like, man, same thing, same stuff. Everybody's still in the corner. I wanted to travel, do something different. So called a friend that was in the military. And, she was telling me how she get to travel and, her pay is the same on the 1st and the 15th. It doesn't change, medical, everything was good. All the 4-day weekends that they get. So like when y'all have y'all holidays, y'all get a 3-day where us, we get a 4-day, you could take up to 30 days. You get up to 30 days of leave a year. So that's automatic. So of course, everything sounds good. So I was like, why not? Go ahead, might as well. What can I lose from here? So, went in, enlist. Not too many people were happy. A lot of family wasn't happy. And I, raised my hand because I didn't tell nobody until after I signed the contract. Wow. I knew everybody was gonna try to talk me out of it. So when I told them and they was like, no, we didn't want you, I was like, well, it's kind of too late now. I already signed the contract. So
they mean business too.
Well, she didn't tell Dorothy. I'm still afraid not to tell Dorothy and stuff.
Yeah.
Hello, my beautiful niece. Auntie is getting set just for you to tell you how much I love you. I am so very proud of you. Congratulations to you and all your service for being there for us. And I ask that you continue to be safe, you and all the troops, and know that we always love you. We're praying for you, and God bless you. I love you.
And my first, going to basic, that was 8.5 weeks of the real deal. I think for me, it wasn't as bad as everybody else because I came in late. A lot of people coming right after high school, 18 years old. I was already 21. And I think coming from New York, New York City, being from Brooklyn, being from Flatbush, it
It's
was
a war
like,
zone in itself.
it was a war. Yeah, I'm coming from a war zone, so it was like, bring it. You know, you could yell at me, whatever all you want. It is not gonna phase me. I think I got yelled at way more at home.
Yeah, especially they know where you're from. They actually they mess with you with that. I understand this.
All right. What about you, Major?
Oh, my defining moment was right after my father passed away. So my dad died.
Condolences.
I told you a story about that.
Mm, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he died right before I joined. I was 22 around the time frame. I was in the process with the Marine Corps. Same thing, parents don't like the idea. My dad served himself. My dad served in the military. Shawn knows the story about that. My dad served a lot of years in the military in a foreign country, in the republic where I'm originally from. And during that time frame, my dad passed away. I made a solid decision to serve the country. Right after 9/11, basically. I used to work. I told Shawn the story. I used to work next to the Twin Towers, about 3 blocks, and my first job was a waiter. I used to wait tables, and I have a lot of clients used to come back and forth from the Twin Towers. And when the tower got hit, I went back to my restaurant, and my restaurant was in shambles.
Mm.
And I went to help out, clean up, and all stuff like that. But you went to the site, it was horrible. And the whole concept is, my whole family was been instilled to always serve. You know, always higher purpose, find something that drives you, make you better. And in the moment, I told myself, well, instead of sitting on the sidelines doing nothing, I'm gonna do something about it, join, and you know, be part of something positive for this. So I decided to join the United States Marine Corps. I was 23 when I signed. By the time I was in basic training, I turned 24 in basic training actually. I shipped out. It was immediately fast tracked everything. Marine Corps 3 months, came home, vacation, and got sent off to boot camp. Immediately after that boot camp, I went straight to infantry school. Infantry school, I was in my unit. Literally, less than 3 months later, I was deployed in Iraq. I was boots on the ground, 2005, less than 6 months, and already.
Wow.
So I was in OF 3 and 4 of both operations. So I was out there already down range in January. I remember like it was yesterday, January 19th, 2005. I was down range in Fallujah. My first tour, first combat tour for the 3rd Battalion Marines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Major. I heard you pick the Marines. I assume, you know, because of your father serving in the Marines, so you figure you follow suit.
Well, my dad, it's kind of weird. My dad's serving the army, but I always liked the Marines since the Dominican Republic had their own version of the Marine Corps. That there was something about the Marine Corps. It was a mystique. I was joining right after the war kicked off. There was no commercials, no live video, there was no Instagram about the service. There was no, oh, look at me, I'm in the Marine Corps, I'm in the Army. There was nothing. It was all mystique. The recruiters used to tell you, well, you ask them how's basic training. They go, well, you'll find out when you get there. And the pressure's no one talking about because they never give you a complete, picture of it until you're gonna find out when you get there. And for me, it was an eye-opener experience because I've seen grown men cry and piss himself. I mean, to tell you, it's a different animal. You're younger, and you go with a couple of years on you. Like Precious said, it's a different mentality, and they'll push you. They'll push you to become better, stronger, faster, and it's a mental thing. You gotta come with the right attitude. Not everybody's meant for the military. Some people do it for the right reasons. She did it for get away. I did it for service. I did it. I got to travel. I got to do all stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I did it because I wanted to part something bigger than myself. And knowing what's going on with the war kicked off, I felt like being part of the solution, going out there and helping people out. And I got blessed. God Almighty, I survived a lot of long days. Shawn knows about it because she talked about it every time we come up. We sit down and have a conversation about it. And military it was a blessing. It was a blessing. I have no regrets whatsoever.
Awesome.
That's amazing, man.
I was going to ask Presh, what made you select the Army over the other branches when you enlisted?
So at first, I actually wanted to do the Air Force. Kind of researched the Army, and I realized with the Army, there was a little bit more, I guess, leeway to getting promoted faster and doing a little bit more than what the Air Force does. I know work-wise, yes, we're going to work hard and we might not be in the best kept areas, like the Air Force, but I was looking to basically excel a little bit faster than what the Air Force was doing. And also, both my grandfathers on both sides were Army, so
That's
that's
right.
why not,
The tradition.
you know. But just like he said, is the military is not for the weak. You know, you have to be strong-minded. And as y'all know, I was a former drill sergeant, so there's a lot of people that come off the street thinking, I don't know, I guess they think it's Club Med that they go into or something. But,
No idea.
um, they be for a rude awakening, you know. And the first thing I ask is, y'all don't watch the movies, y'all don't see what happens there. It's the same thing going on. So, you know, a lot of people make just decisions out of nowhere, whether they trying to just leave home, want to get out their parents' house. You know, everybody comes in for a different reason. You know, I had a lot of civilians that were homeless, you know, that came in. So everybody has their own niche of why they actually came in. You know, a lot of it is not just for, you know, to serve my country, you know, or to pay my college or whatever. You know, when you actually sit down and talk to each individual, it's kind of baffling, you know, why they actually came in. Some of them had, you know, very hard lives. It makes you kind of take a step back and, you know, reevaluate your own self, you know, about what you do on an everyday basis. Cause you're like, wow, this person had it so hard living on the street, everything. And they took the time out, went to a recruiting station and said, this is what I got to do. This is what I want to do. And you know, the ones that's determined because they know if they don't pass, they're going right back to the streets. So to me, that was a passion to, you know, going up, you know, over the years and getting up in rank to actually help people and assist people, because everybody come from a different background, you know, a different home environment. You know, sometimes when I first joined, you know, you got the mindset of, you know, kind of everybody's the same, everybody coming from the same environment. But that was probably my first time being around so many different people from different states, from different parts of the world. Because you got people coming in basic, you know, from Jamaica, from Puerto Rico, from everywhere. And you're there together for the first time. There's, you know, people that never seen snow before, you know, people that never been someplace where it's so hot. So it's, you get all the different cultures, and it is mind boggling, but it's an eye opener. And it makes you, you know, see things in a different perspective than what you did. And it made me, you know, see things in a different perspective from coming from New York. Because, you know, coming from New York, you think you done seen everything because, you know, it's like a melting pot. You think everybody is there, but going somewhere else is like, I thought I seen everything, but actually I didn't.
And Precious actually speak about volumes about that, because I know she was basically overwhelmed sometimes, because you meet people from, okay, you live in the United States of New York, right? You never left New York City, and you meet somebody living with it from Ohio originally, and they have different upbringing and the different. Oh, you want to go play cornhole? You want, what is that? Like in the military, I learned so much stuff that it's just mind-boggling, and the amount of growth you do mentally in the service is insane. Like her getting to master sergeant is a big step. You know, female 17 years in as a, you guys should be super proud of your niece, John. It's very,
Thank you.
it's very.
Yes, sir.
I congratulate her. Get to master sergeant. It's a rank that a lot of people. When I was in the service, my dream was to make it to sergeant major, master guns, because I was trying to do 20 years, but I ended up doing a different pathway. But her getting up obtaining that is a very, very big deal. Personally.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Congratulations on your promotion.
Congrats again.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely. So yeah, and speaking of getting to your current rank, when did you first discover like okay, this is something that I'm excelling at. Like I can make this something long term into a career. Because you know, when you first enlist in anything, right, you're just doing it for whatever reason at the time. Then a year passes by, 2, 5, and you're like, hold up, I'm good at this. Like I could turn it into something.
So of course, y'all know when I first came in, I was by myself. I didn't have Jay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jay came after the fact. So, once she came, my first duty station was Korea. Everything was good. From there, I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and that's where Jalen was born. Once she was born and I became a mom, things it was just totally different. At first, I wasn't sure if the military was for me because I'm like, how can I do this and be a mom at the same time? I'm far away from home. I was in Georgia. All my family, the majority was in New York. I'm starting a new career and I'm a new mom trying to figure out how to be a mom all at the same time. With the deployments and everything going on, because this was 2003, right? So the deployments was very high, rapid, because 9/11 had just happened 2 years prior. At first, I was like, no, I can't do this. I felt like leaving her wasn't the best thing. She was only 1 year old. So I got out for a little bit. I got out, I moved to Atlanta, got a job and everything. However, it didn't feel right. Medical and dental, nobody didn't really sit down and tell me about that stuff. Because in the military, medical and dentals, pretty much, free. I could go to see the doctor as many times as I want. I could take off if I'm sick or whatever, get on quarters or whatever. If she's sick, whatever, all of that's fine. On the civilian side, that's I can't do that.
Yes.
If I take off, I'm not getting paid. If she's sick, I got to take off, I ain't getting paid. Medical and dental, that's about $300, $400. That's taking out my paycheck.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I'm a civilian.
We're civilians. We know the pain.
I remember the lady asking me, like, which plan you want? And I was like, I don't want no plan because this costs too much. And she's like, no, you got to get a plan. I was like, I'm not going to have no money if I take a plan. So, and then not having the time off, they was like, oh, you only get so much time off this year, probably get a week for the whole year. And I'm like, a week in the military, I got 30 days. So, when you evaluate all that stuff, it was like, man. And then at the same time, I felt like, I left my battle buddies. I left them hanging high and dry. I felt like there was a better career, a better life for myself and for Jay. When I was in. So I decided to go back in. And when I got back in, I was hard charging because now I'm back in. I changed my MOS because when I first started, I was admin. When I came back in, I went into logistics. So now I'm looking around and I see all my battle buddies from when I first came in. And I'm like, man, they all outrank me. I'm a specialist. And now they E5, E6. So I was determined to learn my job. I was determined to go hard. And I was determined to show my daughter what a woman could do. And as I was doing that, I started realizing, people around me, the, young female soldiers and even males, looking up to me because they see how hard I'm going. And also being a single mom, they like, if she could do this as a single mom and I don't got no kids and this and another, then I could do it too. I tell anybody, it's not easy. Like being a single mom in the military is probably the hardest things ever. But, I was determined to do it. And I was determined to show Jay, what can be done. This way she understood, she understood the assignment. So.
That's good. Yeah. How about you, Major? Man, you're in the Marines now. At what point do you figure like, yeah, I'm gonna make this? I'm gonna try and take it as far as I can.
Well, was already in my first tour downrange in Iraq, first tour. I realized I landed right where I wanted. I loved my job, loved it. I lived it. I taught all the Marines how to become infantrymen and the unit. I became a senior guy. I was all 100% for it, but during my second tour, Shawn knows about this. I got into a situation that I was hit, a direct hit on ID in my second tour in Iraq. And people, you step back and relax and, just take some time off and then not. No, actually, retrain myself, pass PD tests, and went back and went my third tour. I learned real fast that if you love something, you gotta go, like he's saying, 100% for it. You gotta dedicate yourself for it. And the Marine Corps was for me. Trust me, if I had the steps that later on in life that I had to do assessment, personal assessment of myself of what to do next, I would have stayed 20 years. I would have been 20 years without the news right now. I would have been retired next 2 years. I got my colleagues that was within the service. They're about to retire next year. I would have been 20. I would have had 22 years right now. Still in the Marine Corps, decided to stay. But the military is not for everyone. But it's you gotta find what drives you, and like she found what motivated her. My motivation was I just love the job. I fell in love with the job. I love the lifestyle. I love training hard, going training evolutions, becoming proficient in my weapon, becoming proficient in my job in MOS, teaching, passing on the knowledge to the younger Marines coming in my unit. It just become something that you feel that you're need to become good, pass on the knowledge to somebody else, or anybody else pass on to somebody else, and treat everybody with extreme professionalism. And if you care that with yourself all your life, you have nothing to worry about. That's what the Marine Corps gives you responsibility at a very young age. Coming in 18, you don't have nothing. And person's seen it. You got brand new guys, especially, I'm not responsible for nothing. My mom and dad, I grew up in my life. My dad took care of me. My mom took care of me. But guess what? Mom and dad's not here. Now you're in charge of those 3 soldiers. They're yours. Those 3 Marines. Go. It's it was just broadening your mentality. The Marine Corps was for me 100%. And, I served the Army too afterwards. Afterwards I went to the Army for about 2 years. I tried to go airborne school and stuff like that. But that's another chapter of my life in the service, my total service, 8 years complete. But it's just mind-boggling how you end up loving a certain job so much that you want to become the best, very best on it. And the people around you feel motivated.
Hi, this is Alfonso Matos, and today I want to take time to say thank you for your service to my brother Hail Matos Mesa, and happy belated Marine birthday. Brother, I said it once, I'm going to say it twice, and I'll continue to say it, that we are proud of you for your service and for being part of our future and our family legacy of being proud, being the few, being the best. Love you.
They see you doing great things, but I want to be like that person. But what he's doing, wakes up in the morning with a smile on their face. There were some times when that we were at the worst of the barrel overseas, and my comrades, they used to look at me like, by my last name Matos, hey Matos, right? Why are you smiling? I said, brother, we getting paid to do this. Are you kidding me? We getting paid to do this. I said, there's no video game that's better than this.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like getting paid to do something you love.
That's a fact.
Exactly. Somebody said a long time ago, if you love what you do every day, it's not working. And you need some prime example. She's saying that 18 years already in, left, came back, hard charge, got promoted. Let me tell you something. It takes a different mindset. And you love what you do, forget about it. You're never gonna work a day in your life.
That's a fact.
Exactly. Yep.
It definitely is, because like you also get a skill set. You obtain a skill set, not just the skill set that you went, in for, but you obtain how to be a leader. A lot of people don't know how to be a leader, a manager. They never known how to lead because probably a lot of them been followers their whole life. And now you in a position where you get to leave for the first time. You get in a position where you have your team, your crew, and you're giving out assignments, and you are there, showing them, demonstrating how to do certain things, from the ground on up, and you're earning that respect, and it makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. When you could build somebody up, especially from the ground on up, and you sit back and like, wow, I took a part of that. They, as a drill sergeant, and I had people coming to me, thanking me. I had parents thanking me, like, thank you. My child was X, Y, and Z before they got here. Now this, I had a soldier come up to me and cried in front of her mom and was like, Mom, Drill Sergeant Lee was my mom for 10 weeks. And, it does something to you, because for me, it's like they're my own kids. I take care of them. I make sure they're good. Their lifestyle is okay. I try to teach them right from wrong. And, you just kind of push them out to the world, like, and pray that they do well.
Yeah, man.
And just like he said, the things that come with it, you come from a place where, coming from New York, lived in an apartment all my life, rent after rent, and never had a house, and now I'm able to obtain a house, and have my own car and get paid on the 1st and 15th, and everything becomes repetitive, and you just sit back and you doing your job, you loving it, and everybody respecting you, and you sit back and just kind of like, this is good, this is life. That's right. And just be proud of it, because you sometimes just think back, man, 20 years ago, I was here. Now I'm here. So, but, and again, like he said, it's not for everybody. Yeah, there is people that got it, just like I got it, because I thought the grass was going to be greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. It might be for some, but it's not for others. For me, it wasn't. Not saying I couldn't get a job, because I did get a job. It just wasn't my passion at the time. I think I was so much into the military that I didn't know what I want. And then once I got out and realized, no, I need to come back in. I need to do what I have to do. And, I got, stuff that I need to mark off and make happen. And that's what I did. So I had a point to prove. So.
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, I felt that when I first worked out with Major for the first time. He had a point to prove, and I didn't do too good. Like, I thought I worked out until I worked out with Major. I don't work out.
I told you, man. I told you he does his own stunts, man.
I'm on stunt, man. It's like I told Shawn, like, for someone worked out, I told Shawn that my unit and my military upbringing, as we call, basically my indoctrination all the way to when I make it to the infantry. It was basically built to basically self-destroy anyone that thinks it's strong and rebuild you up. And I trained hard for so long that I mentally don't pay attention. So when Shawn worked out with me, I said, Shawn, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do some deadlifts, we're gonna do some other type of dumbbell workouts. I was thinking was we
doing today? All that?
We're doing out, some warm up. And then after that, we're gonna do some legs. And so we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Working out, and Shawn was like, holy crap, this is hard. Yeah, Shawn become very good at working out.
Yeah, because I had this wild idea that you do a couple sets, then you rest. Then you do a couple sets, then you rest.
You thought there was a rest part.
Yeah. No, it was the first circuit, you know what I mean? And there was sets of the circuit, then all right, we're jumping to this, right? There was no rest. The rest was after we were done. So when I tell you, like, my arms were like stuck, like my range of motion was done, like I was like, oh wow, I have to go home, prepare my body the right way. And now I think I'm okay.
He's good. He's doing way better. Really good.
Oh, man, that's funny. I got a question for you veterans. Actually, you both have multiple decades now under your belt. But when you first got in, wet behind the ears, maybe was there any discrimination or prejudice or anything that you had to go through, some sort of bias? I want to harp on two words. Pressure earlier. You said more of a melting pot, like you're coming to join a team. You know what I mean? So, all races, colors, and
So
creeds come in, but at some point there might be a line that's drawn. Like, how'd you guys get past those lines?
there's always a line that's drawn. And, especially when you're first coming in, as civilians coming off the street, you have to also realize, and I think I learned more of this being the drill sergeant, because now I'm looking at those civilians and saying, okay, that was me at one time. Everybody's coming from a different area, everybody upbringing is different. So how this person was brought up is totally different how this person is brought up. But now you're combining everybody and putting everybody in one building, and telling them they need to get along. They need to figure it out. That's kind of hard, because I had some issues with soldiers where, one, he was brought up not to like, African Americans, and said some name calling and everything. And when we pulled him to the side, that's when we realized it was from his upbringing. It was from what he learned from his parents, aunties, uncles, whoever. And yeah, we had to actually sit down, have a class. And we have this class, we give an EO class prior to. But of course, it might go through one ear, come out the other. And also, if this is your upbringing, you're not really going to listen to us right away because you've been with your parents for so long. Now we're coming in telling you, okay, this is how you're going to think. At first you're like, no, I'm going to think like this. And it takes a while. That's one of the reasons everybody might not make it in the military because of that reason. I had some issues with it, sometimes with African American females, either we used to call it the three strikes. It was, I'm African American, I'm female, and I'm the wrong MOS. When I say MOS, I mean job, like logistics or admin, they call soft, soft jobs or whatever, opposed to like infantry and artillery and stuff like that. They feel like those are jobs that supposed to be here. Those are jobs that supposed to be in the military. There's some people that think that females shouldn't be in the military even now. So they're opening things up to where we had the first female ranger, the first African American
I saw that.
ranger female and stuff like that. But you still get those critics that feel some type of way about it, that don't think is right, or they feel like, oh, they passed her just because. I mean, is it going to get better? Hopefully, but we're living in a world where we're trying to make things better, but you're still going to have those people, because of their upbringing, they're going to have that one track mind of thinking, and nothing is going to deteriorate that. Like, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to have them change their mind. And it is just, you're going to have to either deal with it or figure out a way. And it's a lot that I had to deal with. It was plenty of times I'm like, man, bump this. Nope. But, I had to be strong, and this is where I started voicing my opinion and, stop being the shy and quiet one and say what I had to say. A lot of people probably didn't like it, but it made me stronger, and it made the people around that didn't have that rank or that voice to, now I'm standing up for them, because now they need somebody to stand up for them.
Right. Yeah, and I could imagine for that next, female coming up in the same rank, seeing that for them is inspirational, and that's so important. And I know, with you, Major, seeing you and all of your buddies, coming from Dominican Republic, entering the Marines, did you feel that same kind of bias and discrimination
So,
with like maybe your accent or anything like that?
oh my God, it's silly. You got enough time? No, it's I actually Shawn actually hit a point that actually I was going to start with. Actually, is exactly the issue I was going to talk about. When I first came and moved to the United States, I was a little older. And I grew up all my life in DR. Went to school in DR. Never went to school here. Never went to high school, junior school, nothing. So having a thick accent in the Marine Corps, years after the Marine Corps, I lost the accent. I actually not too much. I perfected certain things of my accent because I was just a leader. I had to take leader role. I had to take classes. You have to teach. But bias in the Marine Corps when I first joined, trust me, I shouldn't want to talk about it. It's just active service, but me being out, I need to tell you, it's still there. There's certain things. You got people from midsection of the United States that never seen a dark skinned person.
Hmm.
I need to tell you, when I joined my unit or infantry school, and it was 90% Caucasians and maybe 2, 3 African American guys. Like one of my best friends, James Johnson, he was from DC. He used to be a football player, track star. This guy was amazing. This guy was like 5'5". This guy was fast, strong, and was sometimes when me and him, when we first met. And there were some guys when I was in basic, they're like, "Where you from?" I was like, "Well, I'm Dominican." They're like, "Where's that?" People didn't even know where I was originally. There's people in this country that they don't even live. They haven't left the area where they're from originally. So when they experience somebody from somewhere else, they're like, where's that? Where's that located? And I experienced a lot of biases, especially in the Marine Corps when I first came in. A lot of sergeants or sergeant house person felt some type of way they specifically had a platoon built up with only one color, the ethnicity, and then you had guys like my former platoon commander that God bless that guy. That's amazing. Gunner Sergeant, this like Gunny, I just lost the train of thought for a second for his name. He was an awesome dude. This guy was he took me under the wing. He was a Scout Sniper Marine. We had one time an incident that we had a guy in my platoon. He literally said, "I don't like black people. Wow. I don't like Hispanics." And it was magic. We're in Iraq, first tour, and this guy's in the platoon with me and my friend Johnson. He said that in front of me and Johnson was about to lay the hate on this guy. And I'm grabbing Johnson by the waist, and Johnson was a powerhouse. Johnson was a strong guy. I'm big, I'm a tall guy, but Johnson was strong. He taught me how to lift weights. Now it took 3 of us to push him away, and I looked down the middle between him and I was listening, just over there. And my platoon leader, he was such an amazing guy. Grew up in Virginia, West Virginia all his life. A country guy, can shoot. He was a Scout Sniper Marine. Just a very, very open-minded guy. He's one of his best friends of American. So he's like, no, I'm gonna fix this. So he grabbed all of us, sit in the room, and he told me, "Hey, express what you feel. Break it down what you feel in the moment." And he actually did that before EO complaint, or anything came out of classes were even started back in 2005, before the whole change dynamic of the military. There was sometimes I didn't get promoted because I was a Spanish guy that I was too hard charging. Like people would say, "You way too motivated." I'm like, "Listen, I'm getting paid to do this job. I love what I do." And there was sometimes my platoon commander, "Listen, I want to promote you meritoriously because you're such a go-getter, And there's sometimes I got awards and a lot of commendations for my unit because just the fact that I was and I didn't care about it now. I just love what I did. I want to have my Marines, Marines that rather me have their backs. That's all my whole concept. I just want to be the hardest working guy in the room, man, and then bother me. And sometimes you have to deal with it. Right now, the prejudice with women in the military it's still sometimes it got better, and person can be your witness or her get promoted. That's back in the time from back in early 99 2000. That was not gonna happen. I mean, tell you, and she knows what I'm talking about. That back in the days, they made it harder to move ladder steps, and in certain nuances, like having the first female Ranger, captain. I read about that. I saw the article. I was like, wow, it's amazing. And like, then Moses opened on the army and the Marine Corps for special forces for females.
Yeah.
You know, females like, okay, I'm gonna try to become a special forces. Like, it's a long road, it's a painful road, but you can make it if you have the heart and drive for it. But bias is always gonna be existing. But a good thing is always gonna have good people around, like your niece and people like me that always look after guys that people that get trying to look down on them. If you always get somebody around you that take care of you, like it's amazing. Having a guy like my first platoon commander step up and said what he said, and they said, I'm not gonna tolerate that in my platoon. I want to have this guy, and I'm gonna take care of it. And he actually went up to the guy and told him come apologize to us. And he told him it'll be the first and last time I hear you make a comment to any of the Marines. The only color we have in this platoon is green. That is it. He addressed it. And I'm talking this guy was grew up in Georgia all his life. He didn't like no way dark. And when platoon commander made him literally live with us and he moved him right in front of us, it taught him a lesson in a moment. Because you gotta understand people they understand, oh well, I never seen people from different color, ethnicity, and then now you gotta live with them, sleep with them, eat with them. It teaches you something, humble you, and they humble the hell out of him. It made him a better person, a better person.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's always different when you go to different specialties, right? So, for instance, in this particular case, you said it was your gunner sergeant that addressed it. Yeah. So, definitely kudos to him for addressing that situation because there's plenty of people who are in leadership positions that don't know how to handle a situation like that, or they're held to certain rules where if they address it the wrong way, it can then get reversed back as you just trying to show bias the other way around, right? Like the whole emphasis right now, similar to what you said, Major, is or even you, Precious, did she get that position because she earned it, or did she get it because it was a diversity hire? And it's one of the sickening things that you hear nowadays. It's like, really, are we really going to take someone's hard work and turn it into some sort of political structure? Like it's insane. You know what I mean? And then to your point again, Major, the lack of awareness, right? People don't really get to travel. And it makes you want to understand why is it that? Like, you know what I mean? You would think if anything, people would do as much research as they can to make sure they understand the world before they go out in the world to protect somebody. You know what I mean?
That is the reason. That is the reason I tell my son and my daughter and everything, you guys need to travel. Like the amount of traveling these are done and I've done. I've been to Europe multiple times. I've been to the Middle East. I love the Middle East. I fell in love with the romance of this desert, the smell of the night in the middle of the night when it's cold. Like if people don't understand, like take a trip to Petra, Jordan, go to Oman, Egypt, and there's some places in the Middle East is beautiful, but people don't understand that they have a false concept. They think, well, everybody living there is a terrorist. No,
they're closed-minded.
There's people that it blows my mind. Like me and Shawn had a conversation one day that I remember one time I told Shawn that there was a guy that I met. This is how crazy it is. Some while back. This guy never, ever, ever his entire 22 years of life, left the state. Why did that tell you right now? Society as a whole. You got people that live somewhere else and have never ever have a conversation with nobody or outside the state. How are you going to be talking about something if you even travel? That's what's going on in society right now. With lack of education, lack of travel. Traveling opens your mind. That's the reason my son, I'll tell you, hey, you want to go here, I'm going to take you here. Let's go travel here. Let's go to this state. Let's go to this state. Learn everything, learn everything and learn to accomplish that. Is everything doesn't get taught one way or you learn thing one way. You need to learn everything. You can. Life is a daily learning curve. You learn something new every day. My father taught me that. And people need to understand you need to stimulate yourself by doing different things, like traveling. Because it's insane right now. There's people right now in this country have never left the state. And they think that the things happen in the East Coast, like prime example in the United States. Go to the middle of the country. Just jump in a car and drive to the middle of the country. You're gonna find a person that live in the middle of the United States of America. They live 50 years in the same state, same town. And when they see you, they're like, who are you? Where you from? From New York. Where's New York?
That sounds nuts.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not making this up. I'm doing this. I've done it. I've been to places that people are like, really? What is that? Like there's some people in this country that don't have TVs. For example, the Amish, they don't have TVs.
That's
They
true.
got no TVs.
Like,
They're
I'd
electric
rather, I'd
power.
rather you don't have a TV and not know where New York is.
I'm telling you, you'd be
I don't
surprised.
know. I think I'll take the TV. Man. That's a boring. That's a boring life.
Like everything is like it's insane. Like learning new things is always good.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing about the military. It teaches you a lot of things that you will not experience. It will stimulate you in ways that, prime example, let's say like she's stationed in Hawaii now. When I joined the Marine Corps, I wanted to go to third division. That's in Hawaii. My recruiter, he just got promoted to sergeant major. He's stationed in Hawaii now. He was stationed in DC for 3 years. He got promoted to sergeant major. He went to become sergeant major of the division down in Hawaii. Awesome dude. Sergeant Major Lopez. Eddie Lopez. Awesome dude. Love that dude to death. I thank him every day for introducing me to the Marine Corps because they opened the doors. Everything. Like Shawn, my son, my stepson Amir. He's in the Marine Corps. 3 years in. He's 2017. He's 3 years in the Marine Corps Reserve, so now he's doing good thing for himself. And it's a perfect fit. Some people got it, some people don't got it, but we need to learn to, like, society as a whole needs to learn new things every day so we become better with each other. That's my belief.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I had a side question. Just kind of pick your brain a little bit. What movie comes closest to a true representation of the military, in your opinion?
It's a lot of movies out there.
Ooh, there's a lot of movies.
All right, top two.
Give y'all options.
Well, if actually for me it's two movies. The Truth Life, I kind of I laugh every time I watch it now. Full Metal Jacket, just a boot camp version of it.
Mhm.
It's actually how the Marine Corps boot camp will be. It's minus the ass whooping and all the stuff, but like the whole drilling control and PT aspect and move faster, And the other movie that I always prefer to watch all the time is Act of Valor. It just shows the commitment of a fellow service member that will do whatever it takes to protect each other. That if you never have to watch Act of Valor, you need to sit down and watch it. You're gonna tear it up at the end. It's at the end it gets you very emotional. I don't want to give the ending. You need to sit down and watch it. It's a very low budget movie, shot by active duty members from Navy 626 and some of the retired guys. But it's such a great movie. Like the storyline is great. It's a mission, whatever. But the whole storyline at the end, it hits home. It hits home hard. If you never sit down today, probably you sit down and watch a movie. You shot me to sit down and watch it. It's really good.
Okay. What about you, Presh?
So coming in, I used to think of the military is gonna be like almost like Rambo, So coming in and in my training, and I'ma just be Rambo,
Yeah. Just going shooting. Yeah, but actually, Rambo at the end. You seen all the Rambo movies? You seen all of them?
Mm-hmm.
You see First Blood, number one.
Yes.
First Blood at the end it was hard. Like this extended version of it. At the end is when he's talking to Colonel, and he's going. Okay. I said, well, who cares for them? He's expressing himself about how Vietnam veterans feel, and I was like, wow, it's hard. This guy talking about how the blood of the gun, and the only thing he was asking for, my country loved me back. That hits home. That's a lot of veterans that serve in the war, and they leave the service and they feel like some time they got not getting cared for.
Yeah.
When I got out from the Marines, active duty, I went to the Army afterwards because I did like pressure. I had no break in service. Actually, I worked 30 days, went into the Army. I had no break in service. I just jumped right in. But it was a time for the VA was horrible. The VA was not taking care of veterans. They were just medicating. And it's still sometimes they got better. They got way better, but it's still we're not taking care of veterans as supposed to. I know a Vietnam veteran that is Agent Orange, his skin got exposed, and they give him a VA rating. 30 years later.
Wow.
It's sad, but it's the truth. Truth.
Right, Press. I'm still waiting on the movie from you, ain't I?
That's right.
I'm trying to slip away.
It's a couple of movies, you know. I'm trying to make sure I pick the right one. So get back to me on that one.
All right.
Don't tell me Smash. Don't tell me like
Better not be no Mash.
was it a comedy from the 90s that everybody should
I mean, that would be the most, you know, political one, the safest one I could pick. So, I mean, some days, you know, in some duty stations, you know, sometimes I was like, am I in training day? But you know.
So I mean, Major, you were speaking about, you know, coming home for veterans, right? Depending on your situation, whether it's you just coming home to start a career or under the circumstance of living with a disability. For you guys, you know, you serve your tours, or like you, Precious, you're still active. You know, what are you doing present day? And we'll start with you, Major. What are you doing present day after, you know, all of this military experience, and how does it apply to what you're doing present day?
I need to tell you that the military give you a set of tools to add to your toolbox. Like I said, everybody learns something every day. But the military gives you tools to add to your toolbox. And you take those tools and you find a career path that's either similar or more demanding than originally you had.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I always seek the job that motivates me and is very still service related, because I still want to serve. I'm still serving now. Shawn, you know, like I said before, and it gave me the tools to find a career path I'm in right now, still in the federal government, working for the federal government in another capacity. Now enforcing regulations and laws, and it's just a different animal. Like just thinking right now, all the amount of skills that you get, and you be able to take what harness what you have and make yourself better by doing different positions. It's just amazing. It's just amazing, because now I'm in a career path right now that is a career, and I took my military time and utilized that for build me up to do something better. You know, I'm still serving in other capacities, but I'm still doing the same thing, serving my country in another way. Because I always seek for that. You know, you serve my country one way or another, no matter what it is. It's helping people as I can. You know, maintaining by doing whatever it takes to make sure my country's safe. At the end of the day, I'll do what I do every day to make sure the safety of my kids.
Hey, May. Thank you for your service, always and forever. Love you.
And my grandkids and my fellow friends. You know, I do what it's long days. There's a lot of days, but guess what? I'm proud of doing it, no matter what it is. You know, I don't care how many hours or how tired I am. I wake up every day knowing the fact that I'm keeping America safe, one way or another. And I'll keep doing what I do until the day can't do anymore.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What about you, Precious?
So, you know, right now where I'm in, because I'm on the down slope, you know, a couple of more years and then I'm retired. So yes, retired. So while I'm in, you know, I already completed a couple of degrees. I got my master's, I got my bachelor's. So this way, when I do retire, of course, I know that's what they're looking for, certifications. I'm in logistics, so I'm trying to get all my certs and everything done. With me being in logistics, we also deal with contracting. I deal with coordinating and planning and everything like that. So I could go into different ramifications of, careers. So I have a pretty broader aspect of what I want to go into. My degree is actually in healthcare. I wanted to do something different than what my actual job was. This way I could have other opportunities,
Nice.
And as y'all know, I'm a real estate investor.
Yeah,
So
we see it.
Yeah, she don't sleep, man. She don't sleep.
I have a property in Texas. I have one in North Carolina, and I just bought one here in Hawaii. So my thing is just to keep on pursuing, getting a couple of more properties under my belt and, use that passive income to either be my gains, just in case the job market ain't too shabby, or to, use that to acquire more properties, so I could have some good residual income come flowing in and stuff. But I'm just gonna try to keep getting educated, whatever I could get while I'm in for free, because being still active duty, I could get a lot of certs, everything for free. They have some job skills and internships that I could also do prior to me getting out. This way, whatever job I want to do, they could send me to a different state, get that internship, and hopefully either they hire me on the spot or not. So I have a couple of different avenues I want to take, just trying to figure out, where I want to go, what state I want to go, and plan a little bit better. Because I know a lot of people, they say they want to retire, they say they want to get out, but they are not financially set. They are not financially stable to get out. And I don't want to be like that. We had the Sergeant Major a couple of years ago talk to us, and he was so emotional, crying, because as a Sergeant Major, he wasn't financially ready to retire. He said he spent most of his career just, trying to catch up with the Joneses, buying rims and trying to have the flashy cars and the flashy houses and everything. Ended up being bankrupt and all kinds of stuff, trying to impress other people. But the people he was trying to impress didn't matter. They wasn't helping him with his bills or anything like that. So, he had to stay in a little bit longer than what he wanted to. And even as he was transitioning to retire, it wasn't to where he wanted to be financially.
All right. And I love everything that you just said. And I think we talked about that pretty much on half of our episodes, if not all of them, right? Like entrepreneurship being a strong focus over the last year, but also realizing that we weren't really exposed to this kind of information, let alone people like you and Major who are making successful business moves that can 1 minute sit down and have a drink and talk bullshit with you, but then the next minute tell you, hey, you should probably invest in this real estate property, or you should look towards a career in law enforcement because there's protection and a built towards the future. We just appreciate you guys for taking that information and sharing it here, because that's what we've tried to do. I mean, the last interview we had was about financial literacy.
For the kids,
exactly. And really showing our kids that you can start from your 5 all the way to 9 all the way up, and really just introduce the value of money. And you said it right, Precious. Like, I mean, we're avid sneaker lovers. You know our reputation, and I know Major knows. You know what I mean? We got
seen it.
Our sneaker collection is stupid. Yeah. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But luckily we have examples like you, Precious, like Ramel.
Hey, Precious Master Sergeant Precious Lee. Just wanted to say thank you for your service. You do the country and our family proud. Thank you.
Exactly, right. If you're gonna buy
I'm down
from
this
it,
quarter, by the way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they really are. They really are. But that's exactly it, right? If you're gonna buy Louis Vuitton and Gucci, why don't you invest in their stock as well, right?
Yeah, why
If
not?
everybody's
Why?
thriving, so that's beautiful. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I
Especially
gotta.
and especially in today's economy. Like one of the main things that I had a conversation with my son about it. My son said, "Oh, I want to play football for NFL," and one of the things I told him vividly, like I had a conversation like a week and a half ago. I said, "Son, if you make it to when you make it to NFL, the only financial person to take care of your financial aspects is gonna be me." Because I literally broke it down what I'm gonna do for him. I'm gonna take your income. I'm gonna buy you multiple properties. By the time you do 5, 6, 7 years in the NFL, you don't have to work or do nothing. You have 20, 30 properties and live off for that. So your income, and you have to do nothing like because it's smart investment. All that flashiness, expensive cars, all that's money.
Comes
It's
and
all
goes.
terminal.
Yes.
The devalued vehicles when you buy them, it's right off the lot. They lose 5 grand. So you got a lot.
Mhm.
Our
Mhm.
cars are the worst investment in the world. Cars just
Mm,
buy
tell me
transportation
about it.
wise. Yeah, like it got to be a lot of times like our generation compared to the old generation. We need to learn a lot from the old generation, but blended with the new.
Yeah.
Realize our, what is the tools out there, and guess what? The material is free to learn it.
Mhm.
The material is free to learn it. It's you have to invest in yourself to learn. What I know now, what I know now years ago,
Oh
different,
yeah. We we
different concept.
we'd all be millionaires at
Mhm.
this point. You know what I mean? We'd
Not
all.
millionaires, we work hard,
Yes.
to
Oh
relive.
no. Yeah, no,
Most of them,
I'd
I'm
be a
still work.
millionaire if I knew
I'm,
what the hell like. I would have done a lot of things differently, man. Because it's not even regret. It's just more so one or two different decisions could have changed everything. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I commend those who got it right the first go round. That's awesome.
yeah,
But I think most of us could look back and say one or two different moves, man,
Yeah.
and
but most of the people that actually have done financial set done well for themselves always get a mentor. I learned from a mentor.
right.
Actually, years ago, I still refer to her. She was younger than me, and she became a mentor. It's kind of insane. She actually lived in Vegas, and I met her doing one of my jobs. I had to go away for some time, and I met her. I had a conversation with her for like 20-minute conversation, not to become a 30, 40-minute, 2 hour conversation. And she broke it down by steps,
Mm,
the things you can do. Because she told me, well, you don't make enough income. She said, no, you only got to build your credit. Credit is key.
mm,
Best thing kids can have, if kids don't have a credit card, building their credit. It's a billionaire right now online. I think he's on Instagram, you can find him. He said he never, ever, ever utilizes debit card. He utilizes credit card.
right.
Yep.
He doesn't use his money. He
Hmm.
uses credit card's money because it's insured.
That's right.
You build credit. Same thing with a kid. He sent all his kids to school, to college, and it's all based on credit cards. He built all credit. By the time the kids was done with college, all of them are 800 credit scores.
Hmm.
4 years because he was basically paying for the credit card. And he had the money, but he was paying and building the credit. It's something you never learned. Nobody sit there and teach you that. Now you
Yeah.
know that you can pass on knowledge to your kids.
Yeah, I think I learned that midway through college, and it's even more beneficial now because with all of the hacking that's going on,
Oh
That's
my
I
god.
don't want to use my debit card
The
anywhere.
dark web is insane.
it's nasty out there.
It's insane.
Mhm.
And the whole going on with Bitcoin, I tell people it's great investment, but be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Put
Yeah.
your eggs in your basket, one basket. Because I heard sad stories about people that
Yeah.
lost everything,
Yeah.
especially retirement fund. Don't invest in nothing in the stock market. Keep your finances from your piggy bank.
Mm.
Retirement fund should never be touched. You'll never touch that. It's not necessary to an investment to become you see your income like your niece is talking about. Like investment in property, that's a home run.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do it. I mean to tell you, you're missing out.
Mhm.
You're missing out big time.
Right.
Like I wish I could negotiate with her. Give me a property in Hawaii too. I want to buy a property in Hawaii. Why not? Why not? Take advantage of every opportunities you can.
I got a two-part question for you guys. In today's time, as far as the military, what would you tell someone or the parent of someone who was looking to sign up in today's time? And second part of that question is, would you recommend your own branch or send them to a separate one?
So, when with Jay,
Mhm.
I did not recommend my branch. I actually recommended her to go to the Air Force. Um, why? Because I felt it was a little bit easier. Um, I kind of understood and knew what the Army is going with and everything. And, with the deployments and just so much. Not saying I know everything about the Air Force because I don't, but from, people that I have talked to or whatever, just comparing the differences, I felt like with her, especially with this generation, it would have been better off for her to be in the Air Force opposed to the Army. Now, if she decided to go to the Army, for it, of course, I will be there every step of the way trying to figure out what's going on because a lot of things change. And that also goes into your first part of the question. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people been, into the news, seeing what's going on, especially at Fort Hood, with the female that got killed last year. So that's been a big, thing about people joining. A lot of us had a conversation, and after that happened, would we want our kids to come in? The majority said no, basically because of the leadership. Leadership has been different lately. It's not the same leadership that I came up with. They call it toxic leadership. And lack of accountability. And I'm not saying it's across the board, and it's not just the Army, is Marines, Navy, and Air Force. So it's not just the Army I'm speaking of all components across the board. But lately, it's been very seen and heard about what's been going on with the lack of accountability, lack of leadership. Nobody cares. And it makes you think, like, do I want my child in this type of environment? Is it safe? Is it safer now than it was before? And to me, is not as safe as it was before. Now, I can't say maybe this was going on because I hear from a lot of seniors and stuff saying that yes, the same thing that's going on now was going on before. The only difference between now and before is you have social media now. So with social media, it's easy to post everything. Everybody got phones and cameras and videos, so everything is getting posted. Back in the day, you didn't have that, so everything was kind of kept hush hush under the rug. Nobody seen, what you didn't see, you didn't hear. So
sorry, out of mind.
Exactly. And it's just one of those like, man, would I want my child to deal with this? A lot of people ask me like, man, your daughter's in Louisiana, she's in LSU, and you're in Hawaii, why didn't she come with you or whatever, or why you didn't have her join the military? And I'm like, okay, well, if I had her join the military, she could have went anywhere. She could have deployed. She could have did, anything. Even if she came here, she's 18, I can't be with her every step of, the way, every minute. I don't know what's going to happen at that split second. All the stuff that's happening in the military right now, is kind of baffling, especially when it comes to civilians. Is like, we supposed to be the, Superman, Superwoman, Wonder Woman, helping everybody. But we have this stigma now, like, oh my God, they're killing each other. They're doing this, they're doing that, because that's what you see so much of. And, we have this stigma on us that's unbelievable, crazy. And when I talk to parents, I tell them like, hey, you have to make that choice, but at the end of the day, your child is going to be 18. It's going to be really their choice whether they come in or not, once they sign that contract and raise their hand. But, you're just going to have to talk to them as a parent and say, hey, make sure you instill those values in them and make them understand right from wrong. We don't know what's going to happen every second of the day. I mean, somebody could go to the store and a car jump the curb and bam, they get hit. stuff happens every day, you know. So for the military part, is not the way, you know, it used to be portrayed as, oh my God, you know, they go into the military, they got this uniform on, they're just a shining armor and just, you know, saving lives and everything. It is not so much like that. It's more like a movie. It could be like a couple of movies. Like I said, sometimes it's like training day. So see, now I answered some of your questions. It could be like training day. You know, sometimes you get love in hip hop, but you know, it depends on the day, the week, the month. I mean, I'm just being honest.
That's true.
But I mean, military, yes, it has great benefits. You know, you could get so much, do 20 years, retire with, you know, a paycheck for the rest of your life, maybe get a disability paycheck, and then go ahead and get another job and get another paycheck. Yes, that's the greatest benefit of serving in the military if you serve for 20 years. Now, everything else that comes in is not promised. And it's not, you know, we deploy, we do stuff. There's no promise that your child is going to come back after that deployment. There's no promise that, you know, your child's going to go on to this field exercise and come back. You gotta just hope and pray, but that's just like anywhere, you know. Every day I pray that, you know, Jay has a great day and I speak to her the next day. But with the military, I tell anybody, it's what you make of it. And those that's coming in have to, I would say, be strong, very strong. Don't come in, you know, being naive, because the military is not for the faint. Like it is not, like it'll crush you bad. But you have to be strong, but you have to come in also with a plan, a mindset of what you're trying to do. And for those parents, you know, that's what I tell them to instill in their kids, you know, make sure they come in with a plan, not just coming in because this is like the last resort or whatever, and you don't know. Because when they come in with that attitude, one, they probably gonna be a troublemaker. They probably not gonna do their job to the best of their ability because they're just there. They don't really want to be there. They don't really want the job. They just had no other decision. Their parents probably told them either you're gonna go to college or you're gonna get a job, because you're not gonna stay in my house not doing nothing. So yeah. But yeah.
There's just hit a lot of key points. It's gonna be hard to follow that one. I'll keep mine short and sweet to the point. Like, she actually covered everything in a nutshell. Everything you need to know is have a plan. You know what to do. You know, maybe track back. Branch wise, I would do like she's saying. You know, recommend the Air Force for my son. He took the Marine. He went through the path of the Marine Corps because he wanted to challenge himself. One thing about the Marine Corps, it challenged you mentally, physically. The Marine Corps has been profession on that for hundreds of years, 246 years, of teaching anybody up to become a war fighter. You know, that's the concept of the Marine Corps. It's the smallest branch of the military. We don't need Congress approval to go to war. The only president, you guys go here for the next 90 days and go take care of that. You know, it's a different branch, different animal, but do I would recommend kids to join the military? Yes, I recommend it to them to do it. There's threats and dangers in the military and outside the military. Of course, there is. And the whole thing before Hood, that soldier got killed, it's insane. It's just I read the whole concept about what happened in the race. I read the whole thing. It's insane. But it doesn't mean the one bad thing overshadows the good. Because in the military, there can be the 10% of people not doing the right thing, and the other 90% doing the right thing every day. So it's like same thing with life. You can't walk around thinking, oh, everything's gonna be sunshine and no clouds and no rain. It's part of life. You need to experience different things, and you're gonna see different things. Like branches of the military, it needs to fit the person's character. I tell people, depending on your attitude, I'll recommend you the branch. Depending on what you want to do with your life, have a plan. That's a great thing you point out. You need to point it out. You need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you can go with it. If you think you know what you're doing, perfect. I'm at 17, I don't want to do it. My aunt's in the military, let me talk to her. My uncle's in the military, let me talk to him. So let me pick the brain. Let me see what I want to do in my life. Where I see myself 5 to 10 years on the road. Because people that join the military do 1 tour or 2 tours, and then they retire, they get out, they do 5 years, 6 years, and they get out and do something else. It's a big concept, but you need to address. You need to know what works for you. That's what you gotta make the military work, like you said, work for you. Like me, I took the military as part of to build myself up to go to the next step, and that's what I did. And there's kids right now with no guidance. What's going on? There's a lot of kids with no guidance whatsoever. There's kids. There's kids right now, no stable homes. There's kids that don't have no mom, no dad together, or they have split homes, or they didn't live together. They're not doing mom and dad together. They're raising them right, but they don't do the same thing their parents are doing. They want to do something different. So it could be something. It can be that itch you want to scratch. You want to have something you want. Skill set, career path, talent, self-challenge, self-motivation, self-drive. Nobody's gonna hold your hand. You know what I'm talking about, especially if she was your sergeant. Nobody's gonna hold your hand. You don't get up.
Tough love.
Yep. Guess what? I heard about this the other day. Tough time, build tough people. Tough time, build tough people. And that's true. And it's factual. It's going on right now. The upbringing you guys had, that I came up with. I grew up in the third world country. I grew up in New York. Super proud of it. Born probably Dominican all my life. I grew up having great parents. Both my mom and dad, very educated people. Both of them went to college, educated. My dad was military. My mom was a teacher for 2 years. Then she retired, became a lawyer. Look at that. As a kid, look at your parents doing successful, but they've done a successful career. It builds a mindset. I could have been on that. I could have gone to college, but no, I decided to go to the military. In the United States. That's the reason I'm trying to tell you this. You got to make the best that you have. And you have people around you that motivate you, drive you, and make you better. There's no such thing with excuse. Well, nobody taught me better. I don't feel like doing it. That's what we hear a lot of kids right now. Well, I don't feel like doing that. It's not for me. How you know? You tried it? Just try it. Just try it. You can do one enlistment. But don't be the person joining the military for the wrong reasons. My dad made me do it. My mom made me do it. Or I had no plan. Or my parents aren't going to support me no more after I turn 19. Don't do that. Do it because you want to do it. That's what I tell. And I would tell any kid that, any parents, the same thing.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So the other question I have, and I actually heard this, while hanging out with Major last weekend. It was from a friend of ours. Shout out to Jimmy. When it is Veterans Day, or you tell anyone you're a veteran, and they say, "Thank you for your service." And for the first time ever in my life, I heard someone say, "I don't like hearing that." You know what I mean? Like he didn't understand. Like, what are you thanking me for? You don't understand my experience. What if I had an experience that I was there, but I didn't like what I had to go through? So I figured I'd bring that to this conversation because I never literally thought that thanking a veteran for their service was could be a questionable thing. If not a bad thing, a questionable thing.
I will say that's based off everybody's own opinion. And maybe he had, his experience, of course, is going to be a little bit different than anybody else. I would never compare my experience to somebody else because our career paths are, going to be totally different. Yes, we may have went through basic and AIT together, but guess what? I went to Korea. They may have went to Fort Drum or something like that. 10 years later, we meet back up. They done went to Iraq 5 times. I done went 3. I done been a drill sergeant. They haven't. Their leadership may have been different than mine. So, of course, everybody's, thought process of the military is going to be different. So I can't really speak on why he has said that because, again, his tenure in the military could have been maybe something that I may not ever understand. Y'all might not understand because we wasn't in his shoes. Even if he was to explain it, I wasn't there. Sometimes we think we go through things that we hold on to, and some people might be like, yeah, you got this great job and you're at this great place, this, that, and another. You might think that, that's how you see it on the outside, but the way I might feel is like, no, this is pressing. I don't like it. You don't understand what I deal with every day. So that could be his thought process. And maybe that's why he said what he said.
Well, I think it's some veterans, they feel like when some people say that. Personally, when people tell me thank you for the service, me being polite, the person I am, I say I appreciate it. There's people humbly actually they say that because they mean it. And there's people you can look at their faces and say, thank you for the service, that kind of being sarcastic. Because you experience that. I've seen already over my years of in and out in the service. And you can see people how they come across and tell you, thank you for the service. And you hear the tone or the monotone and the body language. So, it might be the fact that different experience, like she explained, that people might have a different concept. Probably the experience, people tell me, thank you for service, that sounds like a sarcastic thank you for service, or you really don't mean it. That's on them. That's the person. But it's individual. You need to assess that, take that in, either you want to take your service or you polite to say thank you and thank you back, and truck it, keep moving forward. I know people in my job that they're military, and when I'm paramilitary myself, and I tell them thank you for your service. And they're looking at me, I want to thank you because you did something I didn't do. Because when I was in, I ain't going to combat. You did. I said, for me, it's not the same. For me, I thank you because you joined and you volunteered, you raised your right hand, and you swore to defend the Constitution, all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God. That deep, personally, for me, any person that raises their right hand and swears that, to do that every day in the service, I thank them for doing that. To step in that volunteer. And some people don't want to hear it. That's understandable. You gotta respect that too. People have that experience.
Right.
Tasting them out. Like she once again, your niece is on the she's on the hot seat. She's putting everything out there real well. Fire right now.
I appreciate that, Major.
Definitely welcome.
Yeah, definitely, because it caught me off guard. Like we were there watching the UFC fight, and I'm preparing, right? Like I have so many friends, family that are veterans. I'm like, yeah, always, reach out and be like, yo, thank you for your service. And then he says this, and I'm like, wow. Like, have I been offending people this whole time?
That's weird. That's like somebody saying good morning. You like, what's so good about
it? You got to understand the person. You got to sit back in the person.
Yeah, you caught the real lobster that day.
Yeah. Like it threw me for a loop. So today I was saying Honorable Veterans Day.
Just to keep it mature,
just to be safe.
Yeah, and I don't know if people just said thank you and took it, or was like, what is he trying to say? Like, why is he saying honorable?
You was being safe so you won't piss him off.
That's it. I walk around with a grenade in his pocket every day, waiting for that. Nah, you don't want that smoke.
Oh man,
I got enough. The best day before Veterans Day. You know what it is, right?
The Marine's birthday.
The Marine Corps birthday. We look forward every year for that. It was amazing. It was yesterday. And Marines, we love the Marine Corps birthday. Get to go hang out with each other, bounce ideas, laugh, cry, think about the good time, the bad time, remember those that gave everything for the other country. Sacrifice for themselves. Like young kids. I would say kids younger than me. They were with me when I was wounded, and most of them did not make it home. And my goal, my mindset is, my mantra is, I'll do everything I can to live up to their name, and I'll do everything I can to stay positive, because I'm still here, I'm still in the fight, and me stepping them back and being sad, feeling sad for myself. It's not really enough to a point across and get nothing accomplished. By doing positive things, doing bigger things, I might want to make them proud, make their families proud. want to thank them for it. When I'm here for the service, I want to thank the families. Thank you for having your son, your daughter. Thank you. Thank you for sacrificing.
They serve with you too.
Yeah, for sure. I got another two-part question for you. Prior to you originally enlisting, did you have a dream occupation? And in today's time, can you picture where you would be without the military?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh,
I can see that.
yeah, you argue a lot. That probably would have worked out.
I can see that.
So, I went to John Jay,
Yeah. Criminal college.
So, and I don't know, it just wasn't my niche. And then after that, I thought about like marketing management. Did that for a little bit. And again, I guess that wasn't my niche at the time. I guess I was young, still undecided what I really wanted to do in life. I guess you think things is gonna come easy and this is gonna be easier. I see it on TV, this, that, and other, and it's like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. Courses and so, but yeah, that's what I thought I would have done. So, but the marketing management, I'm trying to actually, mix that in when I do this real estate business. So
it's definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do something from I wanted in the past and kind of, mix it in a little bit.
Yeah, I totally know where you're coming from. That credit list will have you change your majors real quick. Like you come in there, I want to be a doctor. You start looking at that tuition, you start looking like, maybe I could get into healthcare. Yeah, man, it's different.
And what was the other part of your question?
Can you picture where you'll be today if you didn't choose the military route?
I would either be in New York or Georgia.
Okay.
Doing what? Probably post office. Post office or NYPD.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, I see more NYPD.
I thought that was gonna be the first answer. I was like, law enforcement. Yeah.
Well, I took the test prior to me joining, but that wasn't really like it that I wanted to be, like, the dream job or whatever. It was really like lawyer, so I think police came a little bit after that. But if I didn't join the military, then it'll probably definitely be like NYPD.
Okay.
I already see major
special unit.
I already see major MMA.
Listen, no. The MMA was not that big when I was growing up. So
that's true. Yeah,
it was not. I'm a 90. I'm born in the 80s. So I would have probably been, if I joined the military. Actually, I love cars. But I was so much into cars, I was actually building in my mind when I first put my hands on the wrench. I just love the engines, love gasoline. And I would probably be a mechanic. I would have been a technician. I would have built cars, probably not being a race car driver.
I definitely see you overcharge me for some brakes.
Yep. Fast talker
too.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I need it.
Need some brakes, need some new transmission. I'm like, what?
It's like I came here for windshield wipers.
And I probably would end up either staying in New York or end up doing some other career path that I was enjoying. Not business related, but I would probably do something else like probably medical related. Would have probably become an EMT, a paramedic, or firefighter. Outside option, looking at to become a firefighter. I would probably have been a firefighter, law enforcement, cop.
Okay.
Two options I have.
Okay. So I got another good question, and it'll allow you guys to really think about this. I know both of you guys personally, right? And I know music is a big part of your lives. If is there a particular song that connects you with your time serving? And I know you're still active in some capacity, but a particular song, like when you hear it, it either takes you back to like a real defining moment during your careers, or it just reminds you of, a pivotal moment, whether it was happy or sad, that you hear that song and you're like, wow, it takes you there.
Started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Love it.
Really?
Yes.
And
Wow.
it's not just military wise, but just where I came from, like never thought I would achieve everything that I have now. I think about it, even a couple of times a day, just growing up, the way I lived, and, even coming into the military, having my first apartment, and, living paycheck to paycheck, and, making sure, am I going to have, food to last to the next paycheck? Am I going to have Pampers to last to the next paycheck and everything, to I was able to send my daughter to college, and not just any college, but, LSU, a sex school. And I made master sergeant. Coming in the military, the thought process was, I just want to do 3 years. I want to get some training, and that's it. I'm gonna use that training, go back to the civilian world, and, progress from there. It was never in my mind to actually make this into a career. Never would I have thought about being a master sergeant, in the Army. So never thought I'll be stationed in Hawaii, long less living in Hawaii, so
Yeah, I
it
remember when you
just
told
put
us
me,
that. It was like, so they gonna pay you to live in Hawaii?
That's dope.
That's
just,
that's a great boost station.
put in perspective, coming from Brooklyn, Flatbush, Brooklyn, just like, wow, you came from this, to now this, some people can't even get one home, and I have 3.
Right.
So is a blessing, it's things that you pray for, everything, like you pray for daily, that's why, I always put them quotes up. I'm pretty sure y'all see them every morning and stuff, and it's not just for everybody, but it's just for myself also. Like, there's people out there that's praying for the things that you have today, that we take granted, for. And is just, we complain about the littlest things where they wish they was in our shoes.
Yeah. Amazing. What about you, Major?
I don't know. The time for me, I was in the service. Music was, it's a lot of different songs here and there, but there's only a few songs actually I always remember. Remember the day we were patrolling, so the infantry, they're about road, heavy metal music, and I was introduced to heavy metal rock. Well, before my entire long heavy metal, but I introduced to different type of rock and stuff like that through the military. Most of the team members are rock for life. But I always like to think about this song that is every time I remember driving on the road, I think about it. Every time I'm driving myself on the road, every day I think about a song. It just remind me of the time frame. Just patrolling down, up and down Baghdad, outside outskirts of Baghdad on Fallujah. Convers from Hell. It's a song. It's called Convers from Hell. I forgot the name of the group. The Sins. It's amazing. Like every time I hear that song,
Picture this.
It just gives me my mindset. I'm thinking like, well, looking out the window, waiting for something bad's gonna happen, but it's okay. I'm rock and roll. I'm shaking my head. I'm like, well, here we go, guys. Songs like that. It's different things. But progression is in life is mysterious. It's true what it said. I remember my platoon commander, my first platoon commander, Sergeant Sergeant Bailey. He retired as a master sergeant. himself. First sergeant, sorry, retired as a first sergeant. Robert Beatty. Shout out to him. If he ever hears this, still love you, man. Thank you for everything, Tommy. It just the smells and sounds for the battle space always it ingrains in your mind. And having music actually is a very, very good way to channel stress. I learned that. Like I never knew nothing about R&B until my buddy Johnson put me on this. I listened to a lot of R&B. I was important. Music, keep your mind off where you are in the moment. And it's very soothing. I love music. Like Shawn knows, I love listening to all type of music. I love all type of music. But it's not weird. It's actually part of human coherence and mentality, which is kind of great. That people have different concepts.
Definitely. Anything on your end, man?
I was gonna save it to the last question, but you got any other ones?
Yeah, I got one.
Go.
So I always love asking this question because it's always interesting to see, what people pick, right? So you've got a chance to get a sit down with anybody in the world to talk about something that you really care about or just to get information. Who would you pick?
That's a hard one.
That's a very hard question.
Yeah.
One or two people?
Just one?
Since it is Veterans Day, I'll give you two.
If it's two, I got two people in my head right now. I'm a history buff. You know that, Shawn. I've always been a history. I would love to have a conversation with Benjamin Franklin.
Who?
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. Okay.
Benjamin Franklin. I would like to have a conversation with him. Number one, that'll be my first pick. And my second pick is George Washington.
George Washington. Okay. Any particular reason why?
Well, Benjamin Franklin, just the fact that if you pay attention to our Constitution and the Bill of Rights and stuff like that, he helped brainstorm most of the ideas. I just want to have a conversation with what motivated you? What other?
Like, where'd you pull all this from?
Yeah, exactly. Who you copy this from? Come on, let's be honest. Copy it. No, but funny thing aside is just try to sit down with one of the founding fathers, have a conversation about, okay, what motivated you to, help drive this, to make this Constitution, the rights to help build this country, this great nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great. I mean, tell you, this is the greatest nation in the world. If people don't want to admit it, that's a problem. I need to tell you, it's an immigrant, sworn citizen, that got sworn citizen in Iraq. Hey, shout out to General Kelly. Appreciate that. I mean, General Case, appreciate it for sworn me in. He said, U.S. Army, General, of course. He swore me as a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
I need to tell you, that's the greatest country in the world because you're allowed to have freedoms. They express yourself as any way you want. Just have a conversation with a founding father about that idea, where it came from. To be great. And George Washington, just because I want to have a conversation, man. How I felt having taken wood and teeth, man. That kind of sucked, brother. Let's talk about what motivated you to keep fighting for in this country. It's just for me appealing. It's an idea. Sit down and have a conversation with two big individuals that actually helped me to found this country. One was first president. Another was ideologist, great ideologist and inventor. People understand that Benjamin Franklin invented a lot of things. The United States people have no idea. A lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to talk to the both of them. Great.
Okay. What up, Precious? You thought of anything?
So it could be anybody, right?
Anybody.
Yeah.
It could be past, present, or even family, correct?
Correct.
So my first one would be my mom.
Mm.
So, of course, I lost my mom when I was 15. Me being a woman, 41 and having a child, I would want to have a conversation with her to, did I live up to her expectation?
Mm.
Did I do the things that she never got to do? Which, goes back to something he said a while back. My mom never left the tri-state area before. She'd never been on a plane. She never knew how to drive. So it was a lot of things that I've done in my life to do because I knew she never got the opportunity to do it. So these are conversations I would want to sit down with her, just to see, again, did I live up to the expectation? Is there anything that she will want to see me do that I haven't did? Is there anything that she haven't done, that I could try to do, So being that I never really had an adult conversation with her.
That's deep.
Wow.
The second person will be Michelle Obama.
Oh, nice.
So
Great
I
pick.
picked Michelle
Very strong.
Obama, being the first, Black family, being in the White House. They went through a lot. When I went to Essence Festival 2 years ago, she spoke, and it was so deep. Like the things that they had to go through was crazy. And she addressed something that actually hit myself and so many of my friends, family, everything, as a woman, it's like when you say certain things or try to have a voice, you are known as the mad Black woman. And, that hit home because a lot of people, give us that stigma. It is not that. We're just trying to have a voice just like the males, treat us the same, treat us equally. So, it'll be a great conversation to have, just to get a little bit more insight, because I'm pretty sure everything that she said on that platform, there was probably way more that happened, so that would be a great conversation to have with a strong, educated Black woman.
Yeah,
Wow.
listen, in no way can we speak for Candy, man, but we can tell you that you are doing an awesome job.
Oh, you exceeded that decades ago.
Awesome job.
Decades ago.
Yeah.
Keep,
Thank
me
you.
keep
tell
passing
you-
yourself up a time. Keep wiping the
Mhm.
world and catching up to yourself. Make sure you pass yourself every time, though. You're doing awesome.
Got it.
I personally, your mom can be extremely proud of your accomplishments. Right now, having the, just what you say right now, I actually got the pleasure to have, good conversation with my father before he died. He died I was turning 22. I was turning 22, and to see him, what he would think of me now, years later, and the things I've done, I know he'd be completely, truly proud. My mother tell me, my mother had conversation with my mom, one of my parents been gone, the other one alive, and my mom having dementia. She always says that she's super proud of all this. She remembers who we are in her mind, but in her day, she's always extremely proud. I believe your mom will be extremely proud. Take a career path, take a long road, especially the road you took. It's not an easy path. It's not the
Yeah.
easiest road in the world.
Yeah.
Civilian world is great, but military world is a very hard path. And the extreme amount of time and the competition and the amount of professionalism you got to maintain and the amount of mindset you got to maintain during the whole career, it has to be equal. So people see around you how good you did that. I think your mom be completely super proud of you. And I'm very, very fortunate to get to meet you today. At least, by phone, by Zoom call. But I meant to tell you, listen to you talk about things. I think your mother be super proud of you for what you've done.
Absolutely.
You're a
For
great
sure.
mom. You got your son. Your daughter go to LSU. Your daughter going to LSU. That's great. I love the college. It's awesome life for her. It's a good experience. And
Yes, thank you.
you're welcome. You're very welcome.
I got one last question though. Got to ask you both at the same time. Who has the roughest PT program upon entry? We know Air Force is on the other
The
side.
Marines,
The
the
Marines.
Marines, the Marines.
Hands
Hands down,
That's
the
that.
Marines.
Yeah, that was it.
And funny
Yeah,
thing, who's
man.
at the second ones? Who got the
Who?
second worst? Guess
Who?
who? The Coast Guard.
That
People
makes
don't know that.
sense.
People don't know that. The Coast
That
Guard got the
makes
longest
sense.
boot camp in the military. People don't know that.
Mm.
But the Coast Guard fell off from the DoD, belongs to the Department of Homeland now. From the DHS.
Did
It's a
not
small
know.
branch.
Mhm.
Second longest boot camp. Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Marine
Yeah,
Corps.
usually with the Marines, like when they switch services, from Marines to Army, I seen a couple laugh in the middle of the PT session, and it's like, what
That was
are
me.
you doing?
That was me. That was me. Went to the Army. They're like, "No, we're gonna do 2 miles, 3 points." I'm like, "That's it." I'm warming up. I'm stretching out for the real workout. Because you understand, like the Marine Corps, when I was in my unit, we used to do PT every day. You know, the Army does something PT every day. But there was a twist because, in fact, we were an infantry battalion. We helped maintain highest standard. There's always a death race every Friday. Every Friday was a death race for the 6-7 miles. Just become platoon commander. Like, well, it's Friday, gentlemen. You're gonna earn your weekend. 6 miles, go. And we come back from the 6 mile, get in the gym and lift. And it's just particular. It's always been like that. It's always right now the Marine Corps standards start being better, you know, easier. They change it. Now you have 2 PTs you have to do a year. You have to sit fit and you're gonna PT test. And they change everything. They add on the push-ups now. I was like, well, you guys want to do, and now we're gonna throw push-ups in there too, so we can keep you guys in better shape. I'm like, wow. That's what I tell me, I'm like, wow, you guys, these guys are a joke now. I like that. You know, it's always been like that.
Insane, man. Insane. Well, listen, man, do you have another one? How we looking?
I think I'm done, man. I think y'all answered everything a lot better than I thought y'all would, man. You handled us like some real veterans. But I'm good, man. I'm good on the questions.
Definitely. Listen, it's only because, you know what I mean, we know we all have busy lives and we got to get back to them, right? We can definitely talk to you guys all night. I know we would definitely like to pick this up again next year. Because there are a couple of things we really didn't touch on, like PTSD, and I know that's a whole session in itself that we could
session by itself.
Right, so that's why we kind of left it out of here, because we really just wanted to have a nice introduction and conversation. But listen, thank you guys. Now that I know I can say it to you guys, right? Thank you for your service. Yes. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Don't worry, I'm not like Jimmy.
We're not gonna beat you up. You good?
Jimmy, I swear I love you, bro. I just had to ask the question. But listen, I love both of y'all, man. Precious, you are family. Major, you have become family over the last couple years, and you know, you guys taking this time has been so awesome. You are great role models for your kids.
Hi, Mom. First, I wanted to say hi. I love you. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you. But I also want to say thank you for your service. I know you've been putting a lot of hard work in over these years. And I just want you to know that you are my inspiration. Even though my plan is to not join the military, I do look at your accomplishments, your achievements. And I talk to myself and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to make accomplishments. I want to make achievements. I want to be a role model, a leader. All those things that you are is what I want to be. So I look up to you more than you even know. And I just want you to keep pushing yourself. You're almost to the end of the road. So I just want you to keep pushing yourself until you get there. And I want you to achieve and accomplish as much as you can, because at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it. Once again, I love you so much. Can't wait to see you, and just keep doing what you're doing, because I know you got this.
Appreciate you stepping up to the challenge and serving. You've done a great job. We all want you to take care of yourself as best as you can. The United States of America is a great nation because of brave people like you. Thank you for your service. Welcome back. And if you're still away, we're all looking forward to the day when you touch down back home. We're all with you in spirit, friend, wherever you are.
Precious, I know Candy would be, she's smiling right now at everything you do. Granddaddy's smiling. They are just loving the show that you're putting on here on Earth. I'm telling you. And Major, I know your dad is smiling, and everybody's so proud of you coming from DR, doing everything you've done.
Hi, my name is Denise Matos Mesa, and I am Mr. Matos Mesa's wife. And I want to take this time to say thank you for your services, baby. I appreciate everything that you have done and everything that you keep doing. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys for that. You know what I mean?
Thank y'all so much. I know y'all family, but I really appreciate this. Like, when you hit me up, I'm like, of course, this is
like 2 hours before, right?
But this gives a perspective, so everybody can have more of an understanding of what our lives are really like, because some people don't really know, so especially my own family, so it's
I found out some stuff about you that I didn't even
definitely
know about.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this a couple times too.
Major, it was great getting to know you. We need to kind of link or whatever. This was outstanding. I really appreciate it, and please send the link so I could go ahead and post it.
For sure.
Get everybody to watch.
Definitely, man. Everybody has a story to tell, right? And that's what we try to do here at Freedom Cage. You give a platform for everybody to tell their story, because people need to hear it. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on in this world. Any last things, bro?
That's it, man. I got to put it all out there.
Thank you for taking the time, and
thank you for not only the interview today, but for your time. It's truly appreciate it.
Hey, I told Shawn I was willing to do this, and I personally always want to push on the knowledge, especially as our duty. It's going adult now, we're going down the slope already. We're in the 40s already. I see myself and Precious. We were in the. I'm like, well,
he said, with me.
We actually putting things aside. We need to become more condensed that kids need to understand that our generation is different, but our message is always the same. We want you guys to do better than us, and that's the thing we gotta be able to push out there for kids and younger generation. And we want you guys to become better than us by learning through our mistakes and learning what true work and sacrifice looks like at the end of your life. You can be better every day, but if nobody shows you, you're never gonna know.
Very true.
It's in the Bible. You teach somebody how to fish, they become a fisherman. You don't know how to fish, you need to learn how to fish. There's somebody teach you. Somebody got to sit there and teach you how to do things in life.
Absolutely. So the beautiful thing about today being Veterans Day is, our sign off has a special part of it where we actually get to salute some veterans, right? So you are now released back into your regularly scheduled programming. Corporate life, parental life, military life, entrepreneurship, whatever it is that you do, we salute you. And we salute you, Major. We salute you, Precious.
Sure.
See you next year, because this is our last episode for 2021.
2021's over, man. Go enjoy your holidays.
Yes, man. 32 episodes in the tuck. We thank you for this year of support. We thank our guests for letting us close out this year in such an honorable fashion, pun intended. Thank you so much, man. We'll see you guys next year, man. This is Freedom Cage Podcast. I'm Senor Lee.
I'm Ken Kapnick.
See y'all next year when we come back with a new free state of mind. Yeah.